This is a real intriguing research article into an herbal preparation from Japanese traditional medicine, kampo, known as Daikenchuto. Now, many may not realize, but since 1980 in Japan, 148 herbal preparations have actually been approved by insurance companies. So this is something which has traditionally and medicinally been prescribed in Japan itself. Now, these formulas as well have been used for centuries. So we're kind of working backwards here. Often what we'll see here is an observation and how a Daikenchuto can help with a lot of digestive disorders, but why? And this is real intriguing because as we look at this chart right here, I'm not a big fan of animal studies, but you have to grasp the depth of how effective this particular herbal preparation is. So if we look at this, DSS is a chemical that they utilize to induce experimental colitis. And if you could see here, the red squares as you go across the chart relative to the body weight, the DSS is the nasty chemical. The DKT is the Daikenchuto. It almost shields the entire digestive system against this nasty chemical. Again, not a fan of animal studies, but however, though, these results right here have to be brought to your attention. That is very amazing and very amazing. And that's what caught my attention. Again, traditional Japanese medicines have been actually officially prescribed and covered by insurance, or I should say herbal preparations. But now, going back, why does this work so well in inflammatory bowel disorders? In this case, for example, colitis. That's what we're going to go into right this second. We look at the methodology towards the end, but keep in mind the animal model and human models, the dosaging is not exactly a straight line. So I'll show you at the end for reference. But again, work with the medical professional, in this case, traditional Japanese herbal medicine professional. To proceed, how a Japanese herbal medicine protects the gut against inflammatory bowel disease. Research reporting the effects of a common herbal remedy on inflammatory bowel disease. A new study shows that DKT, Daikenchuto, an herbal medicine containing ginger, pepper, ginseng, and maltose, reduced the severity of colitis in lab mice by preventing the loss of important gut bacteria and by increasing levels of immune cells in the colon that fight inflammation. This is an important study to find out exactly why it does what it does. Why people claim they're feeling benefits beyond that of just placebo effect. Proceed. Daikenchuto is a formula containing specific amounts of ginger, pepper, ginseng, and maltose, and is one of the 148 medicines called kampo, which have been developed in Japan and often prescribed by doctors to treat a variety of illnesses. Previous research has hinted that DKT might be useful for treating colitis, but evidence, particularly in the molecular level, has been lacking. Thus, I'm not familiar with pronunciation, so I'll say the researcher and the team of researchers, further researchers, conducted a detailed examination of its effects on a mouse model of colitis. It is not to be disrespectful. I just don't want to be accidentally disrespectful by mispronouncing a name and saying something else. Gut microbiomes containing numerous bacteria and fungi that aid in digestion and help the immune system. Now, this is kind of a brief snippet of why it does what it does. Colitis is associated with imbalance in these gut microbiota. An analysis showed that a family of lactic acid bacteria were depleted in colitic mice of the study. Also depleted was one of the metabolites, a short-chain fatty acid called propionate. Treating the model mice with Daikenchuto restored much of these missing bacteria, particularly those from the genus Lactobacillus, and levels of propionate were normalized, I should say. So that's what it's affecting. They recognize that the DKT is somehow restoring, although it's not a probiotic, it's restoring the intestinal flora balance. Something's going on, and that's what the researchers latched onto. Now, I'm going to come to the conclusion because it's pretty self-explanatory as I begin to read through it, and still just the same. Very, very, very pertinent for those individuals with inflammatory bowel disorders, disease. To proceed, we found that DKT increased Lactobacillus or Lactobacillus and its genus-level bacteria, Lactobacillus, which is beneficial to human health as it exhibits antimicrobial actions and promotes nutrient acquisition. So there you are. For example, we looked at the chart before. You notice the weight loss in reference to colitis. It didn't happen with the DSS, which is the chemical, and Daikenchuto combination group. So the DKT protected against that chemical causing the experimental colitis. To proceed. Lactobacillus has also been shown to be an immunoregulator to resolve experimental colitis and can inhibit several pathogens in vitro. Furthermore, DKT enhanced the microbial-derived short-chain fatty acid propionate in the colon. This is consistent with previous studies showing that Lactobacillus, together with several other bacteria, contributes to intestinal fermentation and increases gut metabolites, including acetate, propionate, and lactate. Together, these findings imply that the effects of DKT on experimental colitis are partly attributable to the promotion of colonic microbe symbiosis and enhancement of beneficial metabolites. In short, what we're looking at is really something quite amazing. You're really not taking a probiotic. You are taking the formula. And the formula of the combination, which has been refined through centuries of observation, shown that it does something to reestablish a balance in which, either through fermentation or otherwise, short-chain fatty acids, so on and so forth, creates quite a beneficial environment for the bacteria required. I don't want to add publisher bias, at least the bacteria required in order to combat this particular inflammatory bowel disorder. And that's what makes it amazing. So again, we're kind of working backwards. This form of kampo medicine has been prescribed. It's been utilized for centuries. People notice it does something, and the researchers now want to find out why it is doing what it does. And here is their basically hypothesis in reference to the study, showing that the outcome, the balance of the microbiome, the short-chain fatty acids, basically as you go into the full study itself, generally the protection and repair of the gut itself through the microbiota. Again, incredible research altogether. Gratitude to the researchers. The researchers also gave credit to the fact that kampo was originally discovered in brought to Japan in the 6th century from China and so on and so forth, and just refined in their particular way and for Japan itself. Again, gratitude, thank you. Look forward to you all once again next week. Gotcha.